When it comes to choosing between a Garmin and an Apple Watch, it's really about what you value most in your daily life. Garmin watches tend to stand out among those who are serious about fitness, outdoor exploration, or simply want a smartwatch that can go the distance, literally. On the other hand, Apple Watches bring a different kind of value to the table. They shine when it comes to smart features and everyday usability. Garmin devices are often built rugged and ready, with a strong focus on precise fitness tracking, advanced workout metrics, and tools designed specifically for the outdoors. Whether you're running a marathon, climbing a mountain, or just prefer your watch to last longer than a couple of days, Garmin has earned a solid reputation for delivering performance in those areas. Things like receiving calls, replying to texts, controlling smart home devices, or paying for coffee with just a tap of your wrist all feel smooth and seamless if you're already part of the Apple ecosystem. And when it comes to health monitoring, Apple has invested heavily in features like ECG, heart rate alerts, fall detection, and more recently, blood oxygen, and temperature sensors. It's less about peak athletic performance and more about personal wellness, lifestyle convenience, and staying connected. So at the end of the day, it's less about which one is better and more about which one is better for you. Garmin is the watch for those who are chasing adventure, challenging their limits, and want a tool that can keep up. Apple is the choice for those who want their watch to feel like an extension of their iPhone. Smart, stylish, and always in sync with daily life. Garmin watches are generally favored for their superior fitness tracking capabilities, longer battery life, and focus on outdoor activities, while Apple watches excel in smart features, health monitoring like heart health, and seamless integration with the Apple ecosystem. Okay, let's be honest for a second. If you're an iPhone user and you live comfortably inside Apple's beautifully curated ecosystem, then chances are, when it comes to choosing a smartwatch, you probably don't even hesitate. The Apple Watch just feels like the obvious choice. It syncs effortlessly with your phone, your AirPods, your MacBook, your HomePod, everything. You get your notifications, you can track your steps, monitor your heart rate, and even answer a call or two right from your wrist. It's a smooth, polished experience. And for many people, that's more than enough. That's the magic of Apple's acclaimed walled garden. Once you're inside, everything just works beautifully, seamlessly. And stepping outside of it, that often feels not just inconvenient, but unnecessary. Why fix what doesn't feel broken, right? But here's the thing. A few months ago, something different was tried, not just for a quick review or comparison, but to give another smartwatch a fair shot. Wear it daily, track workouts with it, and rely on it the way Apple Watch Ultra was relied on. And surprisingly, it wasn't just that the experience was good, but it was then that I should prefer. Slowly, but surely, the alternative. Okay, let's be real. If you are an iPhone user, if you're in the Apple ecosystem and you're maybe looking to get a smartwatch, do some activity tracking, health tracking, and possibly get some notifications on your wrist, you're probably going with the Apple Watch, which makes sense. Apple's ecosystem is pretty great, and when you fall into Apple's walled garden of products, it becomes kind of out of the ordinary to consider anything other than the Apple Watch. What if I told you that months ago, I was testing an alternative, but in the end, I actually preferred it and completely switched to it, having my Apple Watch Ultra. Reasons why you could switch over to Garmin despite being an Apple user. The watch here is called the Garmin Epix Pro Gen 2. It's one of Garmin's flagship do-everything watches and very much directly competes with the Apple Watch Ultra. They both feature bright OLED displays and are built with titanium and sapphire crystal glass. And this year, with the updated Fenix 8, which replaces this watch, you'll even get dye functionality and some other smart features, which the Apple Watch Ultra also has. So with many things in common, why would you go with the Garmin over the Apple Watch? The first reason is user experience. The Garmin does not have a perfectly functioning touchscreen. You can use this watch completely with the buttons, sort of acts like a TV remote, so you have your up and down buttons. Selectional world benefit of using buttons as opposed to a touchscreen, like on the Apple Watch Ultra, is let's say you're in water, like if you're swimming, or you're around water like doing dishes, or probably doing a workout, maybe you're running and your hands are sweaty. In all of those scenarios, you can still do exactly what you would want to do on this watch, whereas on the Apple Watch Ultra, if you have gloves on, if your hands are wet, good luck trying to do anything on that watch. Because the way that it's set up, you have to use the touch screen. Another thing about this watch is the customizability with shortcuts, so pressing and holding the top right button can get to set alarms. Also, the top right and the left middle button can be used as a stopwatch. Maps and route. Garmin supports maps and routes straight out of the box with offline worldwide maps with road information, trail information, even ski resort information, golf courses, and it's all available as soon as you take it out of the box. I truly mean it when I say that if you have this watch on your wrist, you will not get lost. And this doesn't just benefit those hardcore adventurers who are doing their own thing, like going off the beaten path. This also benefits you if you're running cycling or doing any activity where you might want to follow a certain route. One of the favorite things about the Garmin is that it supports the universal GPX file, which you can download from the Trails server or any other popular routing app or website and then load it onto this watch through Garmin Connect. And then you'll get turn BYT turn navigation to make sure you're staying on that route if you go off path. The watch will reroute you, and the GPX file also contains elevation data, giving you a visual elevation profile of your entire route, and some really meaningful stats, like how much climbing you have left so you can better adjust your effort levels. Garmin also has a comprehensive mapping software that allows you to create different courses and routes, and also gives you heat maps of the most traveled roads and real-time elevation data. Now, Apple did release a very basic routing tool with watchOS 11 and iOS 1.8. However, the difference between these two systems is night and day, and there's a lot that Apple has to catch up on before it can even get close to what Garmin has. Personal training and coaching are gotten for free with this watch, so every morning your watch will give you a summary of your day, including upcoming events weather, how you slept, and how your body is recovering from potential workouts. But what's cool here is that it'll be a workout based on how you're doing, and if you go into your calendar and glance at anything that's in yellow, it's a suggested workout. One of the most quietly impressive, and honestly, reasons someone might lean toward the German-made watch over Apple's Ultra has to be battery life. And not in a small way. We're talking about 6 full days of usage right out of the box, even with the always-on display turned on. That's nearly a week of uninterrupted wear, no anxiety about daily charging, no fuss. But here's where it gets wild. If you decide to switch off that always-on feature, which, let's be real, some people rarely need, you're now looking at a whopping 17 days of battery life. 17. That's more than 2 weeks of power from a single charge in a luxury smartwatch that still looks stunning on your wrist. To put that in perspective, Apple's Ultra, their most rugged and premium offering, taps out after about 2 days, and that's with Apple's optimized battery settings. So when you stack them side by side, the difference is undeniable. For anyone who values performance without the compromise of constant recharging, and especially for travelers, execs, or anyone with a busy lifestyle, that extended battery life isn't just convenient, it's transformative. It's the kind of feature that quietly elevates the experience from tech to timepiece. And finally, one of the most unexpectedly useful features that might just convince you to switch to the Garmin is something you probably didn't even realize you needed: an inbuilt flashlight. Yes, right there at the top of the watch casing is a discreet but powerful LED light. No fumbling for your phone in the dark, no awkward wrist angles to light your path. Just a simple double tap of your wrist and boom, instant light, right where you need it. But Garmin didn't stop at just adding a flashlight. They made it smart. You can toggle between a standard white beam or switch to a red LED, which is perfect for those low-light situations where you don't want to disturb anyone else, like if you're camping, hiking before dawn, or even trying to find something in your tent without blinding your friends. That red light also helps preserve your night vision, which is why it's a favorite among outdoor enthusiasts and military users. And then there's the fun part, the effects. Garmin added different flashlight modes to match different moods or situations. There's a blink mode, a strobe for safety or visibility, and then there's one called Blitz. And trust me, once you've used that in the dark, especially on a trail or walking to your car late at night, it becomes your go-to. It's just one of those little things you didn't expect to love, but once it's part of your life, you can't quite imagine going without it. It's functional luxury at its best. Intuitive, clever, and quietly impressive. Is the Garmin above the Apple Watch? That all comes down to what you prioritize and value in a watch. For people who simply view the watch as a tool and want to take their fitness journey a little bit more seriously, the longer battery life, the routing and mapping software, as well as the more robust user experience, make this watch the ultimate tool that you can rely on 24/7. You might not be able to take calls or reply to messages or control your smart home, but it still is smart enough to connect to your calendar, to let you know of your upcoming events, send notifications to your watch, and one of its favorite features is you can still ping your smartphone from your watch. Let's say if you lost your smartphone, you can still ping it with the Bluetooth connection if it's within. The fact that Garmin isn't as smart as the Apple Watch Ultra doesn't matter. Those trade-offs are well worth it, and at least for a fact, this is a better smartwatch. But what do you think about the Garmin? And what do you prioritize when it comes to having a good smartwatch? Let me know down below in the comments section, and as always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.